One night in August of 2005, right before my 20th birthday, I had the sensation that the psychological agony I was in was so great that it was going to break my body and that I was literally going to die from the pain I was in. And around this same time that I had the sensation that I was going to die, I felt this flow of energy go up through my spine, up into the back of my mind, back of my head, and I was fascinated. I was like, what is this? Is that meditation? So I thought, hey, there's this book I just happened to buy, this New Age book that I bought just a few days ago. I wonder if that'll explain what's going on. So I opened up this book that was called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It is a guide to spiritual enlightenment. Subtitle, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. So I started reading this book and I thought, wow, this is so fascinating. And somewhere I read, use your creativity to slow down your thinking. I don't think this was in The Power of Now. I don't know where I read this, but I thought, hey, I know what that is. I've done that before. When I studied chess, I quiet my mind with my creativity. So I just started doing that nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was meditating all day, all night, doing nothing but meditating. And I was reading The Power of Now, and I was learning all these great things where he explains that's what God is, no thing, the no thing that allows something to be. So I start having these mystical experiences while I was going deeply into meditation, and I was just so fascinated that meditation was real, that higher awareness is real. As I'm going deeper into meditation and I'm becoming enlightened, I'm not getting the bigger picture of what's going on to me. That my enlightenment means my eternity in either heaven or hell. So I'm not getting the big picture of this. I'm still sinning. I'm still going out with friends and having a few beers with them. And I had no idea how wrong it was to go out drinking. I mean, after 12 years of sobriety, I'll be 12 years sober this Sunday, December 3rd, 2017. Drinking just sounds insane. So anyways, back to my religious experience. I did see the white light. This was about November of 2005, after I'd been meditating nonstop for several months, for about 3 months. I saw the white light. And I know I might be harming my credibility by going into, all this religious stuff. And, a lot of people don't believe in God and the mystic life. John Calvin denied the mystic life. So, anyways, I'm going to go on here because I know some of my viewers will believe what I'm saying. But about a week after the white light, this anti-life force gets sucked out the top of my head, and I thought I was healed. I thought all was well. I was happy. I let my guard down, and this was my almost fatal mistake. So I'm at a friend's house it was about early December of 2005, and they asked me if I wanted to go out and have a few beers with them. I'm a dumbass 20-year-old kid who doesn't know anything about life, and I thought, hey, that's what spiritual people do, isn't it? They drink beer and they smoke pot, and I had a lot to learn. So I go out to his girlfriend's house with him, and we have a few beers. I smoke a little bit of pot. I don't get completely fucked up, just buzzed. And I had no idea that you have to strive to enter through the narrow gate. You have to make every effort to enter through the narrow gate. So after a few beers, I thought, hey, should I get really fucked up just for fun? I thought, no, that's probably not a good idea. Who knows with the meditation what it could do. I thought I was being cautious by stopping after about 5 or 6 beers, but I had no idea. So the next day, as I'm driving through town, I felt kind of funny. I knew something wasn't right. And later that night, I just started feeling really fucked up. I had group therapy that night. It was a Wednesday, like December 4th, I think, or December 3rd, 2005, something like that. And all this alcohol energy just explodes from deep from within. It fills my body. And as I'm at group therapy, the headmaster, the psychologist, he's saying, I told him what happened, that I had a few beers the other night, and he's saying to the fellow therapy goers, are we talking to Calvin or the drugs? I told him I was afraid I was going to die. This one guy says, oh, there's a remote possibility. And I said, what? Remote? And my psychologist says, are we talking to Calvin or the drugs? And, they said the drugs. And, well, the guy told me, no, I'm not going to die. I would already be dead by now. So, I was paranoid. So I drove back home, and I thought, man, what the fuck is happening to me? And, I'm telling myself, I'm just going to sabotage it. I'm just going to sabotage the whole damn thing. I'm saying that out loud. I'm just going to sabotage it. I'm just going to sabotage it. So for about 3 months, literally 3 months, I was the human embodiment of alcohol. All this anti-life energy got replaced with the nasty energy in alcohol from drinking a few beers. And it almost sounds a bit comical, but to me it was not funny. It was hell. And I think my so-called friend thought it was funny. But a 6-pack of beer ends up putting me in the hospital for 2 weeks. And from the hospital, they sent me to the nursing home. I'll get back to that. But when I'm in the hospital, I'm pacing back and forth really fast, just pacing back and forth, muttering to myself, vocalizing my cognition. So they give me an antipsychotic medicine. They tried me on Geodon to get me to stop talking to myself. I knew it wouldn't help. I knew that wasn't the problem. I knew the problem was I needed to get this nasty energy out of my body. So when they give me the antipsychotic medicine, I have a reaction to it, extrapyramidal symptoms. These are like muscle contortions. So they give me cogentin and Benadryl to counteract the muscle contortion, the EPS, extrapyramidal symptoms. And that is what stopped the muttering. That is the Benadryl and cogentin is what started getting that nasty energy out of my body. And they sent me to a nursing home. And the first time I'm in the nursing home, I'm there for like a month, or maybe a little less than a month. And that whole time, as they're giving me Benadryl and cogentin, I am feeling God's amazing, truly amazing power, restoring my broken body, getting that nasty energy out of me. And, this took weeks and weeks to get all that shit out of me. Job 33:29. Behold, God does all these things for man twice, 3 times, saves his soul from the pit so that he may see the light of life. I fucked up my enlightenment, I went to hell, and I was saved from the pit. For a second time, I was saved. So I get all this energy out of my body, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I can't really function still because of how bad the beer fucked me up. But I got kicked out of my dad's house. I'm not gonna go into what happened, but I'm living with a friend, and I end up going to the hospital again saying, hey, how can I keep taking all this Benadryl and Cogentin and Ativan? Can you put me on a regular schedule for it? And the nurse gets two security guards waiting outside the door. And she says, Calvin, you're either going into the psych ward the easy way or the hard way. I was like, all right. When I walk out of there, she goes, he's coming out and he's not wanting to go in the easy way. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't want to get the shit beat out of me by two of these big motherfuckers. So, yeah, I'm cussing a lot in this video, I know. But it's a very emotional story for me. So I'm hauled off back to the psych ward again, all over again. They scheduled me on all this Benadryl, Cogentin, Klonopin, Ativan, give me a regular schedule for it, and they placed me on 5 milligrams of Zyprexa. And I am, without a doubt, this was divine intervention, because that Zyprexa, a very small dose of Zyprexa, had a miraculous effect on me. For the first time in 6 years of my life, I could bathe myself, I could take care of my room in the nursing home, I'd make my bed, I know it's a minor accomplishment, but to me it was a lot. And I know I should set my goals higher than that, but I mean, it meant a lot to me just that I could function on a basic level. So I'm in the nursing home the second time. They told me they wanted me to be there for 6 months. Thank God, after 50 days, or about 7 weeks, that nursing home shut down. And I thank God for that, because it was such a nasty place for a 20-year-old kid. So I get my own apartment down in a small little university town south of my hometown, farther south in southern Illinois. And I'm taking care of my brother part-time. I'm functioning, I'm taking my medicine. My life looks so much better. But I know that I fucked up my enlightenment. It was foolishness with alcohol. The Bible says to make every effort to enter through the narrow gate. And I had no idea the danger I was in. I had no idea what Eckhart Tolle had gotten me into. So live and learn, December 3rd, this Sunday, 2017, I'm going to be 12 years since I had a drink. Also, no funny business, no marijuana. I do smoke tobacco, but I quit for a few years, and I smoked for a few years, and I quit for a few years, so whatever. I mean, I enjoy smoking, so I don't know if I'll ever quit for good, but maybe like when I'm in a better situation and when things are better for me, I might get off the tobacco. When there's more success in my life, I might say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and quit tobacco now that things are better for me. So, I don't want to preach about the kingdom of heaven and God, and I'm not a preacher. People frankly don't like to hear that shit. But enlightenment and the kingdom of heaven, it's not a one strike and you're out type of situation. If it is God's will to restore your broken body, then your body shall be restored. However, I will probably always need psychiatric medicine to keep my mind working properly from what I did to it from beer and pot. What alcohol did to me was traumatizing. It's not difficult to stay away from alcohol because I want nothing to do with that shit. I don't even drink a glass of wine occasionally. I don't drink a beer occasionally. I do not want to drink at all, not even a little sip. Just because the energy in alcohol is so nasty. It's just a total opposite of meditation and enlightenment. It'll undo meditation. It'll fuck up your meditation. So, I don't know if meditation will ever come back in my life or not. Probably not. Things are a lot better for me now, but I had my shot at enlightenment and I fucked up. I fucked up really bad. On the other hand, things are a hell of a lot better for me. I'm functioning. Yeah, I need psychiatric medicine, so what? So do millions of other Americans. So I need to focus more now on the outer world and being successful, making friendships, meeting women, making money, finding my niche, and finding what I'm good at in the material world. I need to move on. My religious experience was 12 years ago. I was saved from the pit. I have been shown the light of life for a second time. It is simply time to move on. I need to forget about spiritual enlightenment. Those who find it are few. That's in the Bible. Those who find it are few. And, there's no sense just struggling and that inner struggle to find enlightenment when struggling is the opposite of enlightenment. So the search for enlightenment and the goal are a contradiction. Because when you're struggling, you're in pain, you're suffering. Enlightenment is the end of suffering. So it's a contradiction. The search and the goal are a contradiction. So I'm going to fulfill my karmic destiny, find what it is I'm supposed to be doing on this planet, material-wise, how to be successful, where I should live, what city, just fulfill my karma, fulfill my destiny, find some peace and happiness, and move on. That religious experience was 12 years ago. It's time to forget about meditation and enlightenment, and it's time to move on. So that is the story of my disastrous religious experience, how I fucked up my enlightenment, and how Jesus saved my soul from the pit.